12th, 2016, it's 6 p.m. This is the regular village board meeting, Village of Pulaski. Being held at 585 East Glenbrook Drive. Could I have roll call and pledge?
Roger Brochowski.
Present.
Robert Gajewski. Doug Prentice.
Present.
Chris Smith. Here. Richard Stuczynski. Robert Van Lamp. And Reed Woodward.
Here.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Could I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? By Chris, second by Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Before there's quite a few people in the audience. If you do wish to address the board, we ask that you sign up so that we get your names right in the minutes, and spelling and your addresses. And with that, on item number 3, motion to open public hearing regarding resolution 1148-16, a resolution discontinuing dedicated public way pursuant to section 66.1003 sub 8 Wisconsin statutes in regard to consideration and possible action by the village board to discontinue an unused and unconstructed public pedestrian walkway being 10 feet in width, more or less, lying between Lot 4 and Lot 5 of Oak Brook Meadows subdivision to the village of Pulaski.
I'll make that motion.
By Doug. Second by Bob Gajewski. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there anything the board wants to?
The only thing is, do we have room for a park on that side of the creek? That's close enough to that intersection where you're around into the park pretty quickly anyway. But was there any planning done to put a park on that side of the creek?
No, if there's any park that's going to happen, it'll more than likely be along Pelican Drive in the future.
Okay.
Because nothing was dedicated in the Wimble subdivision
Okay.
that I'm aware of. Any other board members? It's my understanding that both the property owners don't have a problem with vacating. And I guess Bill's not here, he will be here later. But my understanding is they can agree to have it go to all one party or split it or whatever, as long as it's an agreeable situation. That will be dealt with.
I understand they both have to agree before we can even approve them.
Yeah.
But this is kind of the first step, vacating.
Yeah, this is the first step. We have to do a
And
public
then
hearing.
that's kind of the second step, Bob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So now what do we have to do? What's the next step?
The next step,
I'll make a motion to open the floor.
I'll second.
could you please give us your name and address?
I'm Mary Ann Timmons, and we live on my husband Tom, and we live at 169 Oak Brook Drive.
Yes.
And our neighbor is at 155 Oak Brook Drive, David Tiffany Sassy. We wanted that vacated, you know, I mean, our bedroom window's right there, you know, I mean, you don't want a sidewalk, let's put it that way, you know, and you'd have no privacy whatsoever. So my question now is, okay, now we're vacating it, what's the next step that's gonna be involved? Because we are selling our property.
Well,
Is that gonna have any effect? It shouldn't, I don't think.
it shouldn't really affect it at all, but Bill is the lawyer, I'm not.
Okay,
And he'll be here later, you can probably talk to him before the meeting. This is,
It's later on the
Yeah.
agenda. number
yeah,
12.
whether or not to vacate that is going to be on item number 12, which is probably about a half an hour away.
Oh, okay. All right. Should we be here for that?
It's in your best interest to get
Okay.
your questions answered.
Yes.
To be here.
Okay.
The other property owner apparently is not here,
No.
so.
According to what we understand is that he didn't really care one way or another, you know, who gets the property, who gets the 10 feet. When Tom had talked to him, he said that he really didn't care,
Okay.
that he really wasn't interested because he was afraid that maybe the taxes would go up or whatever the situation may be.
Mhm.
So that's why I'm sure they didn't show any, they didn't care, I guess.
Okay.
So,
Okay, anything else?
nope, that would be it for now.
Could I have a motion to close the floor?
So moved.
By Roger,
Second.
by Richard, all in favor? Motion carried.
And I'll make a motion to close the public hearing.
Thank you, Doug.
I'll second it.
By Eski, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Carried. Item number 5, motion to open the public hearing on ordinance 544-16 and ordinance amending chapter 5 and section 3710 of the municipal code of ordinances, establishing a room tax commission for the village of Pulaski under the provisions of state statutes 66.0615 Wisconsin statutes.
Motion open.
Richard?
Second.
By Roger, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carried. Under this ordinance, you are creating a 5-member commission. One of the members has to be a member of a hotel or motel group. And so that member will be Al Moran. There will be one trustee appointed to the board, and one chamber member, and then that leaves 2 other seats that are available. And you will be doing that commission appointment at the beginning meeting on the 19th. I would have, I think, a good idea. In the meantime, I would listen to any one of you that might be interested in sitting on that commission. The commission decides on how to spend the room tax revenue and recommends to the board, and the board approves those expenditures. So it just puts the mechanism in place to keep that room tax money here locally. So, any other questions by the board?
Would you be appointing somebody from the board if nobody volunteers then, or? That's
There's
correct.
going to be one board member, I guess, I do not want to sit on that commission.
Okay. And would this be done at the organizational meeting? Okay.
So you can either tell me you might be interested or you're not interested. Any other questions by the board? If not, could I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So second?
By Roger, seconded by Doug. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 7, a motion to open the public hearing regarding ordinance 545-16 and ordinance amending the provisions of section 31.05 sub G, sub 1, sub C of the municipal code of ordinances regarding the sale of wine for consumption away from the premises where sold and in original packages, containers, or bottles.
I'll make the motion to open that hearing.
Doug?
Second.
Richard? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. This is to facilitate the gift shop here,
Yes.
the Mountain Bay, to be able to sell wine for off-premises consumption. And they would like to get that, they'll apply for it, when the new license come up for July 1st. And we did have to make this amendment to the ordinance that would allow that. We're just changing one word in the ordinance,
Yeah,
basically.
from an end to an end or,
Yes.
so I think this makes good sense.
This is different than the wine tasting.
Right. This is different than the wine tasting.
They need to apply for the wine tasting, that would
Yeah.
have, they'd be eligible to then, if this ordinance is passed, and then that would have to come to a board meeting beforehand, before they could have the wine tasting event.
If you remember, the flower shop did wine tasting, and they had to get a permit for every time they did it. This would be the same case, but this allows them to sell it, you know.
To be consumed away from
Yeah.
premise.
Well, I think that would be a good move on our part and yours. It's good business, I would say. It's,
When the flower shop did it, it didn't cause any problems whatsoever. I don't see that being a problem here.
I heard a few people that were filling their passports for Kashmir Day, going in there and sampling and good reviews of the atmosphere and the products he had in there, so.
I'll vouch to that. I had a good time.
Anything else by the board? Not, I entertain a motion to close the hearing. So moved. By Richard.
I'll second.
Second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 9, to approve the minutes of the regular board meeting of March 7th, 2016, and dispense with the reading.
I'll make that motion.
By Bob Kieski,
I'll second it.
second by Roger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 10, persons desiring to be heard. Persons desiring to be heard. Third time, persons desiring to be heard, there being none. We'll go on to number 11, committee reports. The Planning and Zoning Commission of March 16th, 2016. The minutes were by your desk. Basically, we had a site plan and design review for the Pulaski Village Hall Phase 3 of the Police Department. And it was recommended by the building inspector to recommend approval to the village board. The motion was made by Cross and seconded by Greg Stashik to approve the site plan design, and the motion carried. And we also had a site plan review, design review for the athletic complex at the Pulaski High School located at 1040 South St. Augustine Street, Pulaski, Wisconsin, submitted by Pulaski Community School District, 135 West Green Bay Street, Pulaski, 54162. Construction will begin around May 1st, 2016. The project will be done in 4 phases. And the motion by Dave O'Brien, seconded by Robert Kieski to approve the site plan, and the motion carried. And then later, there was a visioning session that was held at the village of Pulaski for the new and updated version of the comprehensive plan. We're just getting that underway. We had about 40 comments from the public, which was a pretty good turnout. And you'll be getting that information as it's feathered out and coordinated. Then labor negotiations was held on March 23rd, 2016, and was in closed session, and to discuss seasonal public works help and discuss part-time, full-time police. Those items are separate items later on, and they'll be handled in closed session by the board. The NEW Paramedic Rescue Public Safety Board, March 28th, Bob.
We had that meeting, that one was kind of short. We had 36 calls in the month of January and 38 in February. the village had 21 in January, 19 in February, and what was amazing, out of 74 calls or something, there was only 4 of them, 3 of them that they didn't transport, that we weren't billed for. It was good and it was bad because there was 2 deaths involved in there and the other one were fire standby, so we collected on just about all but 3 of them calls.
That's quite an improvement over what we've been experiencing.
Yeah, usually about 11 a month. And then, we went at the expenses, well, we did pretty good at the expenses because the calls were up. And we got hit with putting a $300 furnace repair. And they said we have to start discussing it because they're fixing one thing and something else is going on. And they're estimating between $4,000 to $7,000 for a new furnace. They were gonna get some estimates and stuff, but as of now, we didn't yet.
We still have some of that refund that we haven't wasted yet, right?
Oh, I think so. I'd have to look. I would assume there's some in there.
So, we don't know what they're gonna do, but they're gonna try and get some prices from somebody that knows something
Keep
about
our hands out
it.
of that pie in case we need it.
And then, I don't know what it was, but there was a crack in the ambulance in one of the doors, and they called the company, and they come and got it, took it back and refixed it all up, so that's all done. And the other thing, if anybody's got any extra money laying around, in 2018, they're coming out with a new stretcher, they're making a new stretcher, it's an electric stretcher, lifts everything, it goes up and down the stairs, lifts the people, it lifts up to 700 pounds. Without just with an attendant pushing, but the price is approximately $18,000 for it.
One ordinance comp claim.
That was it for us, you know.
All right, thank you, Bob, and thank you for doing the board representative. Committee of the Whole on March 28th, 2016. We really have nothing to report out of that. It was a pretty quiet meeting. We had a bid opening on Wednesday, April 6th, 2016 at 2 p.m. For the corporate way lift station replacement, contract 295-16-02, and I will turn the floor over to Paul Wood. Welcome.
Okay, well, as Reed said, there was a bid opening, there were only 2 bidders, PTS Contractors and Advanced Construction. The construction costs, the low bid was PTS Contractors at $377,475, so roughly about $26,000-$27,000 below Advanced Construction. That is the price for the installation of the footprint of everything. The building pumps and everything was a direct purchase that the village is going to do, and that's just shy of $218,000. This lift station is, it's very deep, it's close to 30 feet deep, and it's very wet over there, as you all know. And that's really what drove those prices, is for the contractors to have to deal with that water, almost to the surface. It's not very far down, is it, TR?
No, it's always saturated, that's so close to the creek there.
It's wet, yeah. And a confined workspace too, really. That's where we got the additional land to build this. It's a very nice lift station. It's going to be very safe for the operators, and in a small community that's becoming more, with all the DNR regulations, becoming more and more of a concern and something that needs to be addressed. This will be a situation where one man can go and deal with 99.9% of the problems and occurrences that happen over there, because we don't have a confined space situation. All the valving, everything is above ground, inside of a building, the generator, everything enclosed. This will be a good 40, 50-year facility with probably interim pump upgrades, but aside from that, it's a long-term facility. So.
Have you seen any work from PTS?
Oh, yeah. As a matter of fact, they did a lot of the sewer and water over here, so they know how wet it is.
Okay.
So Paul, as looking at the different stuff here, so you're installing a new tank, and you're using the old one as in surge? Oh,
It's gonna turn into a manhole. We had to keep that in service while we build the new one, the existing lift station, when we build the new one. So we built the new one kind of alongside of it, and ultimately what'll happen is we'll fill the bottom 4 or so feet with concrete, create a new manhole at that wet well, the existing pump station.
Well, it would be an advantage to locate that in a little different place besides where the existing one is.
There is no other place.
There is no other place.
And if we decide to relocate it, it means quite a bit of cost for new sewer also. And that's still in the wet soils, so you don't really save anything.
Okay. Could that be, say it was located in a different place, and I have no idea how many feet or whatever, but could that lift station be still utilized by running pipes to the new one? Or, do you know what I'm saying?
What, you mean to maintain the existing lift station?
Yeah, well, to maintain it as to, not totally get rid of it, but utilize it where it would run off to the new one.
That's essentially what we're doing, Roger.
That's essentially what you're doing.
Essentially what we're doing.
Well, I guess what I'm getting at is I'm not pleased with the cost of the land that we had to pay for that, or will pay. So,
But when you look at the big picture, that's a pretty nominal sum.
well, that's true, that big picture, but every nickel and dime counts too. So,
Okay, under A, it's considered to approve and award the bid for contract 295-16-02 corporate road lift station to PTS in the amount of $377,275.
You want to make the motion?
By Gieske.
Second.
Second by Todd. It's higher than we had hoped, but we have no alternative. And we can't move the location. It's just, we considered trying to go across the road, but they figured that would add another $150,000 to $200,000 to just move that. That's why we paid so much for the land.
okay.
Can I have a motion and second? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next is consider approve and adopt the resolution 1148-16. Now that would be to discontinue the unused easement between lots 4 and lot 5 of Oak Brook Meadows. Bill, one of the property owners are here, and they may have several questions regarding how the transfer gets handled, whether, they split it evenly, or one or the other gets all of it.
And let me just cover this on a sort of a broad perspective here. There is a statutory process for this to be done. It's a little bit different when it comes to pedestrian type walkways than it is for streets and alleys and those kinds of things. But it's close enough to say that it's similar. So the first part of the process is how do you get to the point where you can essentially abandon public property? And that's what this resolution is intended for. As you'll notice in there, it declares that because it hasn't been used for more than 5 years, that it serves no public purpose. So that's the starting point. Once you approve that portion of it, it then allows the village to abandon the property, and then there's a process for that in the statute. Essentially, in this case, it splits the right-of-way in half lengthwise, and half goes to each property owner, and that's by state law. It has to be split down the middle, as close as you can to the middle, and then half goes to each adjoining property owner. There are some exceptions to that, but none of those exceptions apply here. So that's what will happen next if we approve it. We'll be issuing a deed to each property owner for their half of of that abandoned right-of-way. So I don't know if that answers all the questions. So that's the statutory process for it.
Okay.
So it sounded like one of the property owners was concerned about it increasing their property value and paying additional tax for that. And the other property owner is here tonight. We did notify?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, notice was, and again, this is where it's a little bit different than some of the other parcels or other types of abandonments. For example, if you're closing an alley or closing a street, you have to give notice like 1,200 and some feet in every direction from one end of the alley or street to the other. Here you don't have to do that, it's just to the adjoining property owners. So that notice was done, and so that part's already taken care of. And then if this gets adopted tonight, then we actually have the deeds ready to go, so they'll be put into process to be recorded probably later this week or first part of next week.
Great, that'll be fine.
Yeah,
Thank
so
you.
you'll have it, and when the deeds will be signed by Reed and Karen, and then they'll be sent into the Register of Deeds office to be recorded. When that goes into the Register of Deeds office, you'll get a copy of it, so you'll know when it went in, and then depending on how busy we are at the Register of Deeds office, we'll get that deed back in anywhere from a week to 3 weeks, and when it comes back, then we'll send each of you a copy.
Okay.
So you-
Well, now I've got another question though. We're in the process of selling that home, okay?
Shouldn't make any difference.
Okay.
It's not-
Will that deed come back in our name, or should it go into the new people that are
Well,
gonna be?
It'll come into your name because you own the property today.
Okay, all right, very good. Thank you.
Good.
Thank you.
That answers the questions
Yep.
without getting me in trouble.
Was no cost still in for the property owners for this transaction? Or-
No, because of the way it's filed, it's covered by the village, because the village is the one abandoning it. There's a $30 filing fee at the Register of Deeds office to record the deed, and there's no transfer fee or any of that sort of thing, so.
Okay, very good. Very good.
Thank you. You can stay for the rest of the meeting.
No,
if you
that's
like.
okay.
One last question, Bill. So that deed will be a standalone deed for the property owners?
Correct.
Okay.
Although it will eventually, through the Register of Deeds office and the Treasurer's office, get merged with that parcel.
Okay.
So they'll have a new, they will not have a new parcel number for that little 5-foot wide strip. It'll get merged with their current parcel number.
Very good, yep.
Perfect.
So you won't get 2 tax bills.
Okay, thank you very much. Please,
So
I'll make a motion to approve the resolution.
By Bob,
I'll second.
second by Chris. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 13, to consider to approve and adopt ordinance 544-16. That is the room tax
I'll make that motion.
by Bob Van Lannon.
Second.
Second by Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Again, please get with me by the end of this week if you're interested in that seat. Item number 14, consider approve and adopt ordinance 545-16. That is the sale of wine off premise for the Mountain Bay
I'll make that motion.
by Bob.
I'll second that.
Second by Roger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 15, payment request by Robert E. Lee and Associates. Invoice 70364, miscellaneous amount of $169.50. Invoice 70365, stormwater utility updates, the amount of $370.75. Invoice 70366, Corporate Way Lift Station Upgrade, TIF 2, in the amount of $2,163.20. Then invoice 70367, Police Station Addition, in the amount of $7,005.59. Can I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
By Doug and by Roger. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 16, payment request of the Tri-County Fire Department Incorporated, invoice 548, the first quarter 2016 fire runs in the amount of $2,202.23. Invoice 543, operating fund second quarter budget building in the amount of $17,795.89. And invoice 543, vehicle fund second quarter 2016 budget building in the amount of $3,015. A motion to approve
So moved.
by Roger,
Second.
second by Bob Van Lana. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 17, change order contract 29516-1, Phase 3, Village Hall Edition, per Paul Walter.
Okay, this was a situation where we realized after the bid, after we broke ground, that the drain tile system for the gutters went all along that, what direction is that, west side of the building? And the question was, do we want to continue taking the roof drains underground and shedding it back, a portion of it goes back to the storm sewer out here, and some of it we're putting out behind the building. And the most economical way to do it was to split it that way, to go north and south with the water. And it was simply, when they had the trench open to pour the foundations, it was the most economical time to do that work. So we worked with Reed and had a change order to install that piping, tie in the storm sewer to the front of the building to go into the underground drain system that goes out to Glenbrook, I guess. And then on the backside, we're just utilizing, there's actually a drain field, a kind of a French drain back there. We're tying into that and it'll end up in the roadside ditch. To be,
Needed to get as much of that water away from the building as possible.
Yep.
So, to delay it would have cost us considerable more money.
would have to redig it.
Is that gonna help out with our situation of dehumidifying over here or not?
It might help.
Well, no, I mean, you're taking roof water, you're not really taking groundwater. Yeah.
So, with your blessing, could I have a motion to approve that change order number 1?
So moved.
By Chris,
Second.
second by Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Item number 18, parking lot pole light options. The police addition Village Hall as per Paul Welter. And I would like to also point out that the placement of that pole has caused a lot of concern and accidents over the years from some bystanders in this room.
We've had a few calls too.
And so, I'm going to turn the floor over to Paul now, because we would like to put that pole in a safer location.
About 2/3 back in your packet, you'll come to it's got shoe construction on the top, and it's dated in the right below the word estimate proposal, it's dated 4/5/2016. There's light pole option 1, 2, 3, and then 4. And that's showing you the costs involved to do each of those options. The first two options, just different height poles, number 1 being 20 feet high, number 2 being 40 feet high, The effective part of this proposal is the pole goes right back where it is now. I think it's kind of understood that nobody wants it in that location. Light pole option number 3 and option number 4, move the pole to the southwest corner of the current building, basically. There's going to be a little grassy area, and that would locate the pole out of the pavement area. It would allow for a light to be cast over to the new driveway to the police addition and out onto the parking lot. And if you go a couple more pages, you'll see these kind of funny looking photographs, photometrics they're called. And at the top, I handwrote in there option 1, 2, which we can kind of rule out, but then 3 and 4, and basically what that's showing, number 3 is the 20-foot pole, and that has 2 light heads on it. Number 4 is the 40-foot pole, that has 3 light heads on it. And you can kind of see what the lighting does to the parking area. I think Chief Hensel would love to see option 4 because it provides the best lighting to the area where only the police will be operating in the middle of the night. And it would be a safety issue to them. Number 3 casts some light over there but doesn't cover the area. This combined with the lights on the front of the building would light up that whole access to the overhead doors into the police station in the overnight hours. And that is about roughly $1,000 more than the shorter 20-foot pole. And it's not cheap. I think it was about $7,000 some for that 4th option. But you're buying safety for the officers and for anybody that's around the area. So.
Would there be any other options with additional lighting on the building, or are we pretty standard there?
Pretty good on the lighting on the building, and
So this is getting it out into the parking lot.
yeah. And now that pole is gone for now. And by the way, that pole does include the removal of the existing base and
Oh, okay.
patching and everything. All those prices included that. I think Joel indicated to me earlier today they could take care of removal of that base and that, it was $700 to do that, so that's a pretty nominal sum for that work. Basically, it's up to you what you may want or not want to do here. I'll try and answer any other questions.
In the picture that we're seeing on option 3 and 4,
Yeah.
is that the corner of the building that we're seeing, the current building?
No, what you're seeing is the grass, the grassy area at the corner. And we can just into that grassy area with new locations.
It looks better.
They look much better out of these original, if you want to follow that look.
So the taller one, number 4, would obviously eliminate any other kind of poles or any other kind of additional lighting that would be needed out there.
Doors probably start right here.
I guess it would eliminate the need for the normal business hours of Village Hall because, as has been pointed out, the lights from the restaurant help to light the lot till 10 o'clock every night.
Okay.
And then after that, the only people that are really affected are the police coming and going, so.
See better on
Mark, your thoughts?
Well, the higher it is, the more broadcast you're gonna have, and there's $1,000 difference, but you're gonna gain a head of 20 feet, another light head, and 20 more feet of pole, so, that's an option, you'll have to decide what you wanna do, but it would give you a lot more parking lot lighting.
The additional electricity cost shouldn't be.
These are LED.
We're going to LED.
Oh, cool.
So the return on that is,
We're gonna be less than what is standing right now.
yeah.
I can try and find out what the payback is on this and that, but you're talking,
Probably 3 or 4 years.
yeah, handful of years, and that LED is,
It's not gonna cost the electricity.
Well, obviously, it's two great benefits by moving it, and of course, increased lighting, so I think we'll have to go with that. Number
So
4,
you're going to recommend that we approve number 4?
I so move.
I'll second.
Roger, seconded by Chris. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
That's a whole nother parking spots.
Now, this next one, during the recent week-long 50-mile-an-hour winds, we picked up 5 shingles. And I'm not gonna go on the roof to find out where they came from, but they're definitely ours. And then there's one still sitting up on the roof, cockeyed. So, I thought maybe it'd be in our best interest to ask to get a bid to redo the entire roof. I was a little bit concerned that they wouldn't match very good with the new, but we matched it pretty doggone close, I'll tell you. But they are starting, they're probably 5-6 years away from where you have to replace the roof. And, we had Paul check on prices of re-roofing the existing building, and Shu gave us a written bid. And we also did check into metal. Metal is basically $3 a square foot more.
starting,
At minimum?
starting at $3 a square foot more.
And so that would really drive the price up even more. So the bid is part of your package, and I don't think that it's in our best interest to do this changeover. I think we can work out a bid later, not make it part of the village hall bid. I think we can save money. That's my opinion.
Well, built in, because of the way the contract is written, the contractor being Shu Construction is able to basically mark things up 20% of his subcontractor's numbers. So he basically got a $36,000 bid from his subcontractor, marked it up that 20% the contract allows, and there's legitimate costs in that for him. So it's not like he's trying to take advantage, he's just working to what the contract allows. But that's just shy of $7,000 additional money. That's how we get to the almost $42,000 here. Dan's Roofing, Shu has told me would be happy to contract directly with the village if that's what you'd like to do. And that's up to you. Or go out for bids, hopefully.
So I think that is an excellent idea.
Yeah. I think we've got some local roofers that might be interested in it too.
Yeah. That shingle is more than readily available, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
Do you know the specifics of that? Is that a hail resistive, wind resistive?
That is a 50-year warranty shingle. It's one of the higher, it's probably about as high of a quality asphalt shingle as you can get.
Is that made by Atlas or
It
GAF?
is Certainty, I
Okay.
think.
Yep. So that's their Storm Master, I think?
Pro something.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you probably know about those, don't you?
Yeah. On homes, there are some savings. On my home, it's a savings of $65 a year on my insurance. So maybe that's something you talk with Brian about? Just mention, this is the type of shingle, is there any credit? On a big roof like this, if it works about the same, there might be a little extra money off of the insurance.
And I have that spec sheet, I can certainly share it.
Cool.
And, that's the color you're gonna want anyways.
Yep.
So do we need a motion?
No, we'll not take any action on this item. Be the best.
That 41,000,
Is that taking dual shingles off and
Yes, sir.
putting?
Yeah.
You would never recommend we roof right over the top of it, right?
Unless it went with steel.
Not even with steel.
Oh, right over the top.
So, Paul, are you going to, if we approve this, you're going to put this out for bids to our local?
That'll be up to you.
Yeah, we gotta do it separately.
Oh, we have to do it, so, okay.
I'll make,
So, I just want to know what, so, I heard a lot of things going on. What exactly is it that?
I think
That you
the
think we
board
should do?
agrees it'd probably be a good idea to do the roof, but not as part of the change order, which, drives the price up to almost $7,000.
Okay, but are you talking about having it done soon? Yet, while
Yet
we're
this
doing
year?
this? Yeah, this year. Not putting it off for
No.
a couple of years?
No.
Okay. Okay, that I can live with.
Where those roofs end, it's at a valley at each connection, so it shouldn't be a problem with not doing it as part of the same project. And it looks like they're done already.
She was gonna do just what they were contracted to do originally.
Because I'm thinking, if it should be done, we should be doing it and getting it done so that, it's completed and we don't have to worry about it for a lot of years.
Right.
So that's where I'm thinking, but I didn't want it to be put off to next year, year after, whatever. But to have it all really matching and redone would be what I would recommend.
Agreed.
I'll make a motion to reject this change order.
Okay,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Also part of what was waiting for you is the consider and approve adopt resolution 1150-16, a resolution to accept contingency fund balances for the period ending December 31st, 2015. And the good news is that we still have some money that we can carry over. The bad news is we spent the money. We bought a bunch of playground equipment, and we also bought some park equipment. So we had a minus of $31,100 and a plus of $34,000. So our contingency fund balance as of December 31st totals $145,715.
Judy, the money that we put in the budget for this, that's in this numbers?
Yeah. Those would be the additions, like the +3, the +4, those are all the 2015 monies that we put in the budget, and if we spent any, that's the minuses. So we spent on some playground equipment, and like Reed said, the park, that's $16,000. And then I added those police radios and cars for the police department. They had a $10,000 contingency, and they had spent $6,500, so there'll be a $3,500 carryover for this year.
So I make a motion to approve?
And that's would be in order.
Approve and adopt. And I'll second that.
Motion by Bob Askew to accept and adopt, second by Doug. Any other questions by board members? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Consider and approve operator bartender's license applications ending 6/30/2016. We have seven.
I have 3. This one doesn't have the class.
I've got Lisa L. Woes, Pulaski Food and Gas, has the Fox Cal technical college training completed.
Contingent upon the chief's.
And this would be contingent upon the chief's approval. Carla L. Brevchinsky, front desk bartender, Cobblestone Hotel and Suites. She has her NWTC training completed, and this will be pending the chief's approval as well. And we have Amanda Parchak? Parchak? Okay, thank you. She has she's completed the online course, and she'll be a Trailside VP. And this one is,
She has experience too, being she has a current license, so she would be okay with this.
yeah, she also has a current license in Manitowoc County, so she's actually grandfathered in with the chief's approval.
I'll make a motion to approve contingent on chief's approval.
By Doug. So moved. Second by Richard. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Item number 22, persons desiring to be heard. Persons desiring to be heard. Third time, persons desiring to be heard. If not, 23, such other matters as authorized by law.
Reed, I have two things. First, an issue that you were discussing before, the Kutchta closing did take place on Monday, so that property is now titled in the village's name. It was a long, extended process to get there, but eventually all the documents from their side got to the title company and we were able to close, so that is a done situation. The other one is the CBRF development. A couple of changes that are kind of ongoing there. If you happen to look at the tax roll, the property is actually owned by an LLC called HRRW Properties LLC, and then it's leased to Country Villa Assisted Living. When they originally started out, it was going to be that format with HRRW owning and then leasing to the Country Villa, but then they changed it and it was just Country Villa bought it and they were going to own the land and run the business. Well, they've gone back to their original format now, so we had to go back and change some of the documents. One of the documents that has come up is an assignment of their responsibilities from the Country Villa back to the new owner of the property, that's HRRW Properties. It's the same people. There's 4 people that own both of them, and it's the same group. They just split it up for tax purposes and ownership interests. So you don't have to approve any of this. It's the original resolution that you adopted approving this with the development agreement, for example, had provisions in it that would authorize village president and village clerk to sign any documents that might be necessary to complete this transaction. So the approval's already there, but I just wanted to give you an update that that's what's going on. The other sort of follow-up to that is that the owners of Country Villa have signed under the development agreement a personal guarantee, so that if for some reason or other the tax increment that's factored into this is not met, so if their property doesn't have the value that they pledged, then the 2 companies, the Country Villa and also HRRW, have a pledge that they would make up that difference. There's a backup to that says that if those 2 businesses don't have the wherewithal to make up that difference, then the individual owners would. So there's a primary guarantee of making that TIF differential, and then each of those are backed up by individual owners. We've done that with all the properties going all the way back to the development of Mountain Bay Plaza. We've always had personal guarantees from the individual owners in the event that the company that got the benefit of this development was not able to make that payment. We've never had to use it, but we've got that guarantees in place. And the other time, to be honest, in the 20 years or so that we've done this, the only time it's ever come up is the bank as part of the financing stuff when we borrowed. They wanted to make sure that we had these folks locked in, so that if there's ever that shortfall, they would pick up the difference. The only difference in these over the last few years is that the amount that the individuals are guaranteeing are tied to their ownership interest in the various companies. So in this case, with 4 owners, they're each on the hook for 25% of the difference. So a little more complicated in the hotel, because there were, I think, 18 owners, something like that. So each guarantee, and they all had different percentages, so it was kind of a mishmash to kind of put that all together. But just to know that there is a personal guarantee behind all of those agreements to cover that shortfall in the event that there might be one. That's it.
Did he by any chance tell you when they'll be able to open up?
I had a conversation with Chad Reeder last Friday, and they're anticipating that the completion will be done by the 22nd and April.
Oh, really?
And they'll start training and they'll open up officially early May.
Nice.
So, and they've already, half the rooms are already spoken for, so.
Is that right?
So is,
They expect it to fill up by the end of June.
are there any updates on like Bellin and
Yes.
anything else?
We had a meeting with Bellin, the engineers and the building coordinator. We're gonna have a special planning and zoning meeting probably the first week in May to approve the site plan. The building, they intend on starting in May, and they hope to have a completion date of September 30th, which is pretty fast. And it's gonna be a 9,000 square foot facility.
Oh, nice.
And if anybody wants to know what it's gonna look like, it's going to look just like the one in O'Connell Falls, except larger.
What about the canning?
That's not official because there's all this environmental stuff that they found some underground tanks and et cetera, and they gotta work through that mess,
Okay.
which never happens right away. But sale's still on track.
Okay. Anything else going on?
There's a lot going on. I expect Al Moran to come in for building permits for the 55-plus housing apartments and the duplexes or whatever the world they are.
There'll be duplexes.
Okay.
Townhouses?
Townhouses.
There's townhouses and duplexes both.
Yeah, and they're gonna be on the back side of the 2 new houses that are out there. They'll be on the other side of that.
So everything's kind of chugging along. It's just like 60 days behind of what everybody wanted it to be. So,
But they're updates, and that's good. All good stuff.
we've done such other matters. Item number 24, department reports, Public Works.
All I have is yard waste, grass clippings and leaves, don't rake them into the road, leave them behind the curb in a container that we can pick up. That's
Not
it.
on the curb?
Right behind the curb, not in the gutter part.
Yeah, but on the lawn. You
Yes.
don't have to have it in a container though, do you?
Yes, because we don't have our leaf vac on it in the spring. So we need it in a container so we can load it.
Okay.
Anything else?
That's it.
Thank you. I hope this is the end of the salt season.
Yes, I hope
So I
so.
can get my van washed pretty quick.
Good luck with that.
Sewer and water.
I've had a few people inquire about our spring flushing. We're gonna probably project that to be a first or second week of May this year. Actually wait for the nicer weather and try and do a more thorough job for the hydrant flushing. And that's about all I have for tonight.
Thank you. Police Department.
I have a couple of things. Been working with Bill Van Castle. On the 22nd of March, we received a notification that we have to have a policy in place to catch up with the state statute changes. I've been working with Bill, crafted the policy to allow the officers to make an arrest for a criminal trespass at dwelling removal. And basically, it's for landlord-tenant issues, but we had to have a policy in place, and Bill and I worked together, and I think it's all good to go, but I presented it to you, so you'd have that. We had 3 burglaries last month, just to let everybody know, lock your doors at home, even garages that are unoccupied. If, you go to bed at night, lock your garage, because that's what they're going into, is the garages. I just want to point that out, and we did some search warrants in the last 4 months. We've done 6 residential search warrants for methamphetamines, and been getting a little heat over the fact that when the drug task force goes in and they take the door off of the battering ram, that the landlord is very unhappy with us that we don't fix it. But it's really their responsibility to do a little background and do some research before you rent to somebody who's going to sell methamphetamines out of their house. So I'm just bringing that up so that if you hear that.
And I got my screaming, give me bed for about a half an hour, and I said, that's an officer safety issue, you don't want any backing from me.
Yeah, so, and then we did 16 internet-based crimes for the internet crimes, which involves child pornography and some other things. In the last 4 months, we did 16 of them. So, pretty active with the stuff that's been going on.
Thank you, Mark. Administration, Jody? Karen? Item number 25, communications. The Municipal Board of Canvassers met Monday, April 11th, 2016, at 8:30 a.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall to canvass the late arriving absentee ballots as per April 5th, 2016 special election. Karen?
Okay. The Board of Canvassers, we met on Monday morning from 8:30, and we were done at 11:30, and then these ballots had to be, the results taken over to the Pulaski Community Schools and then to Brown County. The final results with those 5 ballots for village trustee, the final count, Doug Prentice was 680. Bruce Britchkowski was 655. Robert Van Lannen was 413. So these were the top 3 trustees. Richard Stuczynski had 369 final count. Gerald Arvakevich had 219. The Pulaski School Board members, now this would be just what the Village of Pulaski counts. Zone 1, Trina L. Townsend had 465. And the write-in for Carolyn Hayward had 451. In Zone 3, Barb McKeefery had 695. So we had a total of 1,105 votes for Brown County. We had 47 votes for Shawano County, so there were a total of 1,152 people that voted in the April 5th, 2016 election.
Do we have an idea of what percent?
I know Brown County counted like 47%. The City of Green Bay had 85%. They were the best ones, but it was right like, I'd say between 40-45% that the village had, so we had a good turnout. It was a very busy day.
Thank you, Karen. The Economic Development Ad Hoc Committee meeting will be held Monday, April 18th, 2016 at 12 noon at the Cobblestone Hotel, 1220 Mountain Bay Drive, Pulaski, Wisconsin, and Al Moran will be the host. The organizational board meeting is scheduled for Tuesday, April 19th at 6 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall. The Planning and Zoning Commission will be meeting Wednesday, April 20th, 2016 at 6 p.m. at the Pulaski Village Hall. And the NEW Paramedic Public Safety is Monday, April 25th, 2016 at 1 PM. The annual meeting and then a regular meeting will be held at the NEW Rescue Building, West Pulaski City. And we need to schedule a date and time for the regular board meeting for May 2016. It would normally be May 2nd, but I am absolutely not available that day. And so we'll have to have a meeting change. And I'm suggesting Tuesday, May 10th at 6 PM.
So you need to wait the whole week? Are you gonna be gone? for
I
that?
know I'll actually be back in town on the 3rd, but
Oh, okay. So you don't wanna do it on the 3rd?
You're back late, right?
yeah, I'm back late on 3rd.
Oh, on the 3rd, I got it, okay.
That Tuesday's gonna be a little tough for me, but I can make it happen. Monday is better.
But then,
It's
Chris
a
and
Legion
Bob
night.
on Legion.
That's why they make babysitters.
We can bring them along.
Yeah. You don't want that.
Have the judge take care of them.
He doesn't want that.
He did a good job.
Yeah.
May 10th's fine for me.
It's fine with me too.
Okay, Doug?
Yep.
Tuesday, May 10th? Okay.
That would be 6.
Yeah, 6 PM. And we need to schedule a date and time for the board review. Karen's got some communication.
Yeah. I gave everybody a copy of this. Mike Diener is thinking of Wednesday, May 18th, or Thursday, May 19th, or Monday, May 23rd, and probably, I think we usually met like at 4 PM. And then he needs these dates already because we have to advertise, and then he wants to set up a open book for the assessment rolls, and that's usually done like 2 weeks before the board of review, that he meets in case anybody wants to come in and visit with him and talk about their tax parcel.
We possibly got court on the 19th, huh?
We may, could be court trials. That would be at 5 o'clock, so,
So this was usually a 4 o'clock meeting, and was there a certain amount of time that it had to last?
till 6.
4 to 6.
6.
Thursday would be better for you. The 19th.
And Thursday, the 19th, I know
That's court.
we could possibly
Oh,
have
I
court
gotcha.
trials.
Could check with Bill and see if he has any.
He may.
Hello. Got a question for you. Yes.
We're talking about board of review, because
Wednesday
Mike
would be
Diener, we
okay,
need to
yes.
advertise some dates, and he gave the dates of Wednesday, May 18th, Thursday, May 19th, or Monday, May 23rd. I think Thursday, the 19th of May is out because we could have court trials. You don't even have that new paperwork yet. I have it.
That's a trial night, so there's flipping a coin whether we'll have one, but you never know.
Monday the 23rd?
The 18th, I can make it work. I was just saying the 19th would be better, but I can make Wednesday work.
Wednesday, the 18th? Is that majority? Bill, you can
That's
be
fine.
here too, the 18th? 18th at 4 o'clock, should I tell him?
4 to 6.
Okay. Thank you.
Item number 26, to adjourn to closed session as per Wisconsin State Statute 1985. Sub 1, Sub C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility, and specifically to discuss seasonal public works help.
Make motion with one closed session.
By Richard. Second by Doug. Roll call.
Roger Burchowski?
Yes.
Robert Gieske?
Yes.
Doug Frank?
Yes.
Chris Smith?
Yes.
Richard Styczynski?
Yes.
Robert Van Len?
Yes.
And Reed Woodward?
Yes. Thank you all for being here.